So, hi guys, this is Bernhard from TANGO Austria in Vienna. Since I'm all set up for recording, I just did this air ventilation video. And because I'm going for a short trip in the next days, I thought I will do the infamous Simucube 2 Ultimate video as well. I was talking about this for some time. I switched from Fanatec DD2 direct drive to Simucube 2 Ultimate. I had a different I made a different video. I will link it in the end of this one regarding the Fanatec DD2 and my reasons why I changed to Simucube Ultimate. But the thing is, bottom line, I really don't understand why there is such a hype around the Simucube drives. I don't know why everybody says it's a different level, it's a different world, it's whatever praise there is sung upon. It's a good drive. Is it so much better than other solutions? I don't think so. Are they having big issues? Yes, they have. So there are pros and cons for both. I pointed out the things I liked for the Fanatec DD2 in the other video. And overall, I think it's the solution working better and easier for most people in most situations. Whereas Simucube, I would consider the high-end solution but also if you're prepared to deal with plenty of issues. I like the force feedback for both of them. I don't think that the Simucube, even the Ultimate I got, is like so much better than the Fanatec. You have to play and find the sweet spot for the dampening and the configuration. Once you have done that, both drives and their feedback I consider very good, and I could live with both of them. I changed for especially for two reasons. I wanted to be more flexible in the way I can mount the drive, and about which wheels I can use. So with the Simucube, to me, it's easier to use any given third-party wheel together with a wheel shaft extension. To mount a wheelbase further back and have some kind of wheel shaft extension is, to my knowledge, not possible with a Fanatec, or very difficult. For Simucube, you have stuff like this. And since you don't have to have the electric components running through it, you can use like more or less standard wheel shaft extensions like you would have in a race car. I personally are going to use Buchfink quick releases because I consider them just better and with less hassle than the original Simucube quick releases. My first experiences with Simucube, once I ordered, I did some in-depth research of why and what I want to go for. I decided to go for an Ultimate. I watched a lot of reviews. They said that, and it's also shown here on the online manual, that they did some revisions of the initial product. Especially two things got improved. One is the way the design of the quick release, and the other one is the connectivity for wireless connections. So they have implemented an antenna at the back of the wheelbase. So this is what is written here on your manual, which I took a look at. This changed that in August. And if you scroll down, you'll see you get the wheelbase Ultimate, including an antenna to be mounted at the back of the base. So I ordered an Ultimate 2. It was confirmed that it's delivery from a second batch. Despite that, I received an early version. So it has the original quick release, and it does not feature this antenna at the back. I'm still in discussion with my dealer and especially Simucube. So far, there's no solution. I want them to replace this. I did my research. I placed my order more than 1 month after August, so end of September. and I expected to buy the Ultimate having these revisions on it, and I didn't receive it. So to me, this is not correct, and so far Simucube didn't offer a solution for that. I do hope we find a solution in the near future. Otherwise, I will be quite disappointed. I'm already. Despite of that, the power supply coming with the Ultimate base was clearly faulty. All the screws on the bottom of the power supply were loose, and some parts inside flying around. If you move it, it was clearly not the way it was supposed to. I got an exchange for that meanwhile, but it reminded me on the bashing of Fanatec when they had the first issues for the direct drive wheel, also with the power supply, because they made a little beeping noise, some of them. I had one like that. It was not really bothering, it worked perfectly fine, but it had this, sometimes graphic cards are doing this like little, like a very high pitch, soft sound. And I got in touch with Fanatec and received a different power supply. I didn't have to return mine, so I have two now, without making any noises, and it was a matter with some days, and replaced it. Still, Fanatec takes a lot of bashing if there are minor flaws discovered with their product, and they are accused to produce in low quality and try to make the most of money possible, and so on and so on. Well, so I bought the most expensive high-end product from Simucube, the Ultimate, and the power supply. If you just take it 5 seconds out of the box, you will understand there's something major going wrong with it. I don't know how this could find the way into the box. So that was the first impression. The second one, the safety pin was missing. For I don't know why. I got one by now, but this was the second thing I noticed. And the third, the original, since I received the first version without the improvement, I still have the original's quick release. So I have seen reviews saying how fantastic and amazing design, and it's rock solid, and so on and so on. Well, you need this, which is like flying around if you have to change your wheel. So you have to put this away and then put it back in. Solutions like, for example, the Buchfink, it's integrated in this. So there's nothing I have to take out and which can get lost and so on. I prefer this. But that's a minor thing. So you have to use the safety pin. And as far as I can tell, it is solid. So once it's fixed, there's no movement whatsoever. That's correct. But the thing I don't understand, since this is the original version, this is the quick release, there's also an adapter in between, a 3 centimeter distance. But in the original version, this 3 centimeter distance thing has the same diameter than this one. And I don't know if you can see this. I really don't understand how anyone can come up with a solution set like this. It doesn't make any sense if you take a look at this at the first time and you think for 5 seconds, you understand this is not the way to go. I don't understand how they can release a product like this. And this was one of the things they had to change later on. And now they are supposed to deliver. Well, I didn't receive it yet for 2 months. They're supposed to deliver a new quick release, being a little bit of a different design, because the issue with this one is, as you can see, there are the holes for the screws, and this diameter just goes over the screw, so you cannot go through the thread with your screw. And this is like a 4 millimeter aluminum plate, so you have, and there's a thread inside. So you have a maximum of 4 millimeters to screw your screw in and hold it there. Because it cannot go through it, it will collide with whatever you attach after it, as far as the original quick release is concerned. So in my case, using this Fanatec adapter and 2.5 centimeter long screws, these screws end up to be into this thread for exactly 2 millimeters. In theory, I could, I would have, I could try to make, I would have to produce screws with 2.8 millimeters to cover at least the 4 millimeter threads inside. I didn't want to go through that. I thought I will receive the improved quick release rather soon, which I didn't. So for now, these screws are inside only 2 millimeters, and even with careful tighten them up, some of the threads became already like, you know, worn out and not holding very much. I have to refasten them like every second day because they become loose. It's just no way to fix them really tight into this, since I cannot go through this and put a counter, how you call this, the other part of the screw, die Mutter in German, to hold this screw in tight. So that's a huge issue for me, and I really don't know how anyone could possibly come out with a solution like this in the first place. It's just, I'm sorry, but plain stupid. So I have to wait for the improved quick release, and I hope I will receive them in the near future. Or basically what I expect them to do is to replace this wheelbase against the version I tried to order with a new quick release and the antenna in the back. This is a temporary mount. This is using the SimLab direct drive mount on a SimLab desk. This is not really very, I don't know if you can see this, even without having a wheel attached here to have more leverage. This is not really strong. I will make a custom mounting solution with aluminum profile and then a very strong steel plate to mount the wheelbase directly at the back of behind the triple screens. So this is what I'm going to do. Move this to the back, have a thick steel plate mounting it in front on a standard aluminum profile. This should be rock solid, and move the wheelbase to the back, and then I can move the triple screens in front and lower them a little bit, because this was one of the important reasons to go to Simucube. It says a smaller wheelbase, and I can mount them to the back. And this is something where the Fanatec is much larger, and I cannot mount them to the back. So this was my reason to change to Ultimate. And eventually, hopefully, I will be able to do that. But since I have to move this back, I have a massive steel plate in front. Then I have my triple screens and the button boxes and distance plus wheel. I definitely look for the improved version with the antenna at the back, because I don't want to run into connections issues in the near future. Having said that, it's not the only issue I have got with Simucube, sadly. Initially they said, well, you can easily change all the parameters on the fly while you drive, being in the sim, using the software. Well, you can change them, but, and there's a confirmed bug, and they are working on this for by now, I don't know, months. The thing is, you get a kill switch with a Fanatec direct drive like you get with the Ultimate. With the Fanatec one, I never ever had to use the kill switch. I was using the Fanatec DD2 for half a year, and I was wondering why I have a kill switch. I have never ever had to use it. And this is because everything worked just like you would expect. And that's the advantage of the Fanatec. You have the possibility to change any parameter of the drive through the wheel by using this setup menu. So, and you have the display showing all the changes you do, and literally you can do this while you drive, and it works. So, and I did this sometimes to change dampening or force feedback while I was driving. So you can go down Döttinger Höhe and go into configuration system of the Fanatec configuration menu and change the settings there and configure, confirm, and it's good to go. there's a huge issue when you try to change this kind of settings. I will change the view here for you. Yeah. If you change the settings within the Simucube software while you're in a simulation, chances are high that the drive performs 360-degree or more with full force out of nowhere. And I hurt myself like once or twice a little bit because if you have your hands inside like a one and you change this and the wheel starts turning, it can be kind of dangerous. This is also one of the reasons why the staff of Simucube explained that the enabling the high torque mode and the peeping of the base has to be, it's a safety issue. Because in the first place, I found it disturbing that if you have the wheelbase running, first you have to activate. This is another thing in Fanatec. You start up the wheel, you just press once to say okay, and you're in full mode, in full torque mode. Here, every time I have to enable this, scroll over there, and then say activate. Then it makes beep, beep, beep. And from now on, every 4 minutes, it's going to make a beep unless I deactivate the base by using kill switch. So for me, these beeps are annoying. This turning on via the software is annoying. And they justify this because at the moment, plenty of situations, the wheel might start to turn 360 degrees with full force, like out of nowhere. And in my case, it happens every time I start up the computer from standby and or I reactivate the wheel from the kill switch. It will decenter, make more or less, sometimes it just makes a small movement, but is decentered by 360 degrees here in the software. And sometimes it really goes crazy, especially if you change something in the settings within the game. Be careful with that. If you change Simucube settings in their software, in the driver, while you're in a simulation, expect the wheel to go crazy at the moment. I do hope they will be able to fix this in the near future, but at the moment, it's an issue. And since I'm testing the Simucube drive, I had to use the kill switch. I cannot tell how often. I mean, many times. And so bottom line, it just does not work the way I would expect it to work. There are a bunch of bugs and flaws at the moment, which annoys me to some extent. And I find it more complicated to use, more or less reliable. It's less reliable than a Fanatec. So there are pros and cons. I still plan to stick with it because I want to have this flexibility of where to mount it and use wheel shaft extensions like this one. I want a more easy way to use third-party wheels. I know nowadays there is this podium hub where you can mount different wheels as well. So that's a solution. But when I bought the DD direct drive Fanatec DD2, and I was looking for using different wheels, it was not there yet. So, and I used it for half a year, and the podium hub didn't get out. So nowadays, I think it's available, but it was not for the last year. So it just took too long time for me, and the wheel shaft extension is not working with Fanatec anyway. So I will be using the Ultimate. But is it the best? The best, so much better than anything else? No, in my opinion, it's not. The force feedback, it's a matter of taste and how you put your configuration. You can take a look. Some people asked which one I use. I will show you this just short, so I don't have a wireless one. This is my Iracing Use Settings. I use 1080 degrees. Bump stop at 1080. Overall strength, I put it to 80%. I don't need like the 100%. I don't see the point. And also this is a reason why I don't see this comparing like this drive can last for 100%, 30 Newton meter longer than another drive. There's no way I will ever use this full strength in any situation while driving. So what's the point? Force with construction filter at 4, no limit for the bandwidth. I play a little bit with damping and friction here. At the moment, I run 8% friction and 10% damping. Inertia at 10. I don't exactly know what this does. I don't want the static force reduction. No slew rate, ultra low latency, full 20%. I have no additional filter like that. No damping from the game. Everything said, this is not used anyway, so it doesn't matter. And the special filters for the Simucube Ultimate, I don't use the static force reduction, so this is no issue. Linear torque, and just a little bit of center damping. I played around with this a little bit. I'm not so sure if this is working really well. I don't consider this very important. So these are my settings. This one, the bump stop, this means like if you turn the wheel all the way until the end of whatever the simulation is telling the drive to be the end, like could be 700 degrees, 550, 720, 900, 1080, whatever. I want the wheel to really stop there because it's like in a real car when you cannot continue to turn the wheel, it makes sense just to stop there. I don't want to be kind of soft. So bump stop strength almost full, 90%. Some angles, so it's not like a dead end, but it's like you have some flex in it, like in a real car. You have these rubbers in your suspension, so you have some movement at the end in your steering wheel. And this is why I use some bump stop angle and damping effect. No hands off, don't like that. And those are my settings. I'm quite happy with the force feedback. It feels good. It feels different than Fanatec. Does it feel so much better? It feels different, and to me, it's a matter of personal taste with what you prefer. Huge advantage for me is that you can mount this more flexible than a Fanatec drive, and it's smaller, a smaller footprint. For me, these are a huge advantage, so I can use stuff like that. Otherwise, I would prefer a Fanatec because it simply works like it's supposed to work. So the drivers and the configuration, it's just like seamless. I do, and it works. It doesn't do this 360 craziness, which is going on at the moment with Simucube. Therefore, there is no need to use the kill switch all the time. I just turn it on, press OK, I want to have full torque, and it's up and running, and I don't have to pay attention anymore. With Simucube, I have to turn on, then it's decenter. I have to center it twice to make it center again. Then I have to activate this torque using the software, and then it makes beep every 4 minutes until I deactivate the kill switch. Then I run the simulation. I understand, there's no feedback because I had to deactivate it for the 4-minute beep. I have to activate the kill switch again. And then I found out I want to change something while I'm in the game. And if you do this while you're in the simulation, chances are you're fucked. So at the moment, there are some issues with Simucube. And to me, it depends on what you prefer and what is more important to you. If Fanatec DD2 or Simucube 2 is the better choice for you. Sorry for some of the ranting going on, but I really seem to have bad luck with the delivery of Simucube I got. But that's it. So I ordered it. It's almost 3,000 euros. And I run into a faulty PSU, a missing safety pin, the old version instead of the new version, no response from Simucube support when I go to receive the new quick release. And no solution at the moment of if I will be able to replace this with a version with featuring the refused solutions of quick release and the antenna. So, well, ongoing, and I will do another video when I was able to sort out some of those issues I described at the moment. Otherwise, it's working once you get it working, and therefore see you on the racetrack. Thanks for watching.